Hello, I'm Paul Myrick. Welcome to my YouTube channel about my experience in moving into a 1940s cottage in Laurel, Mississippi. Over 25 years ago, my great aunt left me property in Laurel, Mississippi. It's about 75 acres, and there's a small cottage measuring about 1,000 square feet on the property. In September of 2020, when COVID was raging, I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was actually leasing a one-bedroom apartment, and I just was not sure what would happen with my job at that point. Many people had been laid off where I worked, and my lease was coming to an end. So I decided maybe the safest thing for me to do would be to return home to this property. And so I asked my boss if I could make the move and work remotely from here in Mississippi. And she said, yes, that would be okay for the time being, since it didn't look like we were going to be returning to the office anytime soon. So, mid September 2020, I loaded up a 26-foot Super Mover U-Haul truck with as many belongings as I could get in there and my two golden retrievers, and I headed south to Laurel, Mississippi. I left Charlotte late that day. It was around 2 p.m., and I think I arrived in Laurel around 2 a.m. at my mother's house. The next morning, after I arrived in Laurel, I realized I didn't even have a key to this house I was moving into. I also had been told there were water issues, as in the plumbing needed some repairs. Some sort of patch had been made to the pipes in order to get the water flowing without having a major leak. But it was, from what I understood, a very temporary patch. Someone in my family arranged that. Other than that, I really didn't know what condition the house was in. I just knew that I needed to move in. When I arrived at the house in the moving truck, what I found was a house that had been basically used by my family for storage for many, many years. No one had lived here in many, many years. There were issues with mold, not black mold, thankfully. There was a sort of a dusty yellow mold on all the walls and on the furnishings that were in here. There were clothes stored in the closets. They had yellow mold on them, a sort of dusty yellow mold. I'm just not exactly sure what that was. I was able to find some movers to show up and unload the van. The problem is everything in the house had to come out before any of my things could move in, and I hadn't even had a chance to clean. My mother had the bright idea that I was going to have a yard sale, a carport sale that first weekend. And so she made a sign, and my stepdad set it out by the highway, and people just started showing up and buying things. Um, it was quite an experience. On top of that, I only had a week off from work. There was also no internet. The house is located in a rural area north of Laurel, Mississippi, and there are no services here. There is water and power, of course. Gas is supplied through a delivery service that goes into a big tank in the backyard. That was another issue. The tank was rotten, but I'll go into all of that in future videos. Anyway, I just wanted to take a moment and share some photos of the condition of the house and the surrounding property when I arrived. And I invite you to watch future episodes if you're interested to see how I dealt with all these problems.